Haristuti, Shloka 15. Pashyan shrinvan atra vijanan rasayan sanjighrad bibhrad deham imam jivatayetham ityatmanam yam vidurisham vishayagnyam tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harimide. Anvayarthaha. Imam deham bibhrat itham jivataya atra pashyan shrinvan vijanan rasayan sanjighran iti vishayagnyam atmanam yam isham viduhu tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harim ide. Imam deham bibhrat. Imam, this, deham, body, bibhrat, by supporting. So imam deham bibhrat is by supporting this physical body. It means the pranavayu is supporting this physical body. So like that is itham jivataya. In that form is the jiva. So in the form of jiva, what else is being done? Atra, in this physical body, pashyan, seeing, and shrinvan, hearing, vijanan, knowing, rasayan, tasting all the things which are eaten, and then sanjighran, picking up any smell. So smelling. Iti vishayagnyam atmanam. Iti, thus, doing all these actions is vishayagnyam, the one who is the knower of all the objects. Nyam means the knower. Vishaya is the objects. So the one who is the knower of all the objects is doing all these actions. And who is that? Atmanam. That is this self. And yam, this self is that jiva, and that jiva isham viduhu is the Paramatma. Isham viduhu, this is known by the yogis. So that jiva is indeed Paramatma. It is known to the yogis. So tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harim ide. I worship that Hari, the destroyer of ignorance, which causes samsara. In the previous verse, we saw that Brahman has as though entered every being and remains as Jivatma. Now in his presence, all the actions take place, but he himself is uninvolved in the actions, remaining as the Sakshi Chaitanyam, witness consciousness. Now here, Jivati is a verb in Sanskrit, and it is taught by Panini as Jiva Prana Dharane. Now our focus is on the meaning. Prana Dharane is the meaning for the verb root Jiva, which has been given by Panini. So, Jiva means the one who is holding up and sustaining or supporting the life principle in the body. Now, so, Jiva means it is the one who, with the vital air, supports life, holds life in the body. As such, Jiva is not the direct meaning of Paramatma, about and trying to understand in various forms. Now in our colloquial language, we say Jiva has left the body, and in that we are referring to a person who has died, which means the prana vayu has left, the air has left the body. Now based upon the function of the air in the body, prana vayu or the vital air, the life force, is classified into 5. Prana, Samana, Apana. This prana is a vital force that runs in our body using that air which we breathe, respiratory air, as a vehicle. So this term is used in two meanings, this term prana. The overall vital force is also prana, and the air, vayu, that governs respiration, the circulatory system, and it moves upwards, that is also known as prana vayu. Then Samana takes care of the digestion of food, distribution of nutrients, assimilation, etc. And this vayu is said to move in circular motion in the abdomen region. Then the apana vayu works on elimination of waste. It functions below the lower abdomen. It takes care of the excretory and the reproductory functions. Then the vyana vayu circulates through the entire body. It is an outward moving vayu. Outward moving means within the body itself the circle will be in the outward direction. It controls the voluntary and the involuntary muscles in the body. Vayu is the energy that goes upwards from the neck to the head or the throat upwards. It is this vayu, udana vayu, brings all the other forms of vayu together and enables the prana to leave the body at the time of death. Now, the knower and doer of all these and other actions in the body mind sense complex appears to be the Jivatma. Shastra says Jivatma is not different from Paramatma. The same Shastra says Paramatma or Brahman does not perform any action because it is all pervasive. Now this sounds paradoxical, isn't it? So how do we understand this? It amounts to saying Paramatma is a doer, karta, and Paramatma is not a doer, akarta. Now this doubt is clarified by Sutrakara, that is in the Brahma Sutra. There is one aphorism where he says, Yatha cha takshobhayatha, takshobhayata, taksha ubhayatha. It means here cha, that particle means rather, and then just as taksha means a carpenter, ubhayatha exists under both conditions. That is, in two forms he exists. It is the same carpenter. So what is the meaning here? A carpenter becomes an agent, a karta of action only when he has to use the tools like the saw, the hammer, the chisel, etc. And then when he is using the tools, he goes through sukha dukkha. Later, as a person who goes home and is merely present, he is a akarta, non-agent. Similarly, as Jivatma, using the sense organs and the mind for all, the Atma appears to be an agent, a karta. Paramatma appears to be a karta. And then it is the same Paramatma who, because he appears to be a karta, he seems to be going through happiness, sorrow, etc. In other words, in the transactional reality, Paramatma seems to be a karta, but from the absolute order of reality, from that perspective, Paramatma, who is niravayava, partless. He cannot use any sense organ, mind, etc. to perform any action. So he is akarta, a non-doer. In other words, a witness. Sakshi. This Paramatma is Chaitanyam, the consciousness in whose presence the actions are performed by the assemblage of body, mind, sense complex. So the kartritva is superimposed on Brahman due to ignorance, avidya. So there is adhyasa or superimposition of kartritvam, doership on Brahman, and this is due to ignorance. And this sense of doership, kartritva, which is superimposed on Paramatma, is due to erroneous understanding of the nature of the self. So that is avidya. Not understanding the true nature of the self is avidya. Paramatma, who appears to be a karta, is praised and worshipped in this shloka as imam deham. This body mind sense complex, bibhrate, is sustained. Atma, who has as though entered in the form of vital force, pranavayu, and then he is itham pashyan. He is with the adjunct of eyes, as though a seer. He is seeing. And then with the ears, shrunvan, he picks up sounds and is as though hearing. Then vijanan, with the intellect, he perceives objects. It appears like he is the knower, so knowing things. And then rasayan, with tongue, he picks up tastes, so he is as though tasting. Then sanjighran, with the nostril, so as though smelling. But by itself, this Paramatma is not involved in any of these actions. Now, a supporting mantra establishing this fact and throwing it about Paramatma from Kathopanishad is like this. Atmendriya manoyuktam bhoktetyahur manishinaha. Atma indriya mana yuktam. So here Atma means buddhi in this particular compound word. Atmendriya manoyuktam. Here Atma means buddhi. So this Jivatma by itself as Shuddha Chaitanyam, as pure Atma, is nothing but the Sakshi, witness in its original nature. But the Jivatma, when it gets associated with the body, mind, senses, then Kartritvam, Bhoktritvam, that is doership and enjoyership, are supposed on this Paramatma, and with that Paramatma becomes a Jiva. As a result, when the mind is thinking, it appears as though Paramatma is thinking. And when the sense organs are functioning, that is seeing, etc., it appears as though Paramatma is seeing, hearing, etc. So, evam vishayajnam atmanam. Like this, one who understands that it is in association with the senses, etc., that one is an experiencer, enjoyer, and so on, and is known as Jiva. But yam isham iti viduhu. But upon enquiry, when one finds out that the truth of Jiva is Brahman, the Akarta. And Akartritvam is one's intrinsic nature. So when understood like this, that the true nature of oneself is Paramatma. So this is a fact to recognize that Brahman is the true nature of the self. Brahman is Sakshi Chaitanyam, and that is the true nature of the self. So this Sakshi Chaitanyam is worshipped and prayed to in this verse. Tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harim ide. So this worship offered to that Sakshi Chaitanyam will destroy the ignorance because of which
Pashyan shrunvan atra vijanan rasayan sanjighrad bibhrad deham imam jivatayetham ityatmanam yam vidurisham vishayajñam tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harimide.